Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're looking at two games played between Integrity Esports in the blue and True Neutral in the orange. And in the first of these two games, we're watching through the eyes of True Neutral's AJG. So if these two teams are new to you, don't worry, I'll give you some background on them. But first of all, the context of these games we are watching. These are the last two games in a best of 5 series. It's currently 2-1 in favor of Integrity Esports in the blue. And the winner of this series will make it into the first event, the first regional event for RLCS in North America this season. And unlike last season's fall split, we're talking top 16 to get into the main event, not top 32. So twice as impressive, if not more so, because I think that just the standard of quality has improved so much in the past year. But either way, this is a ridiculous accomplishment for a team like Integrity Esports to be here, because I believe their earnings as a team are somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 going into this event, and their earnings as players likewise, similar kind of numbers. So they are completely new to this level of competition, but as you'll see from these two games, and as you'll see from other games that you watch them play, it doesn't look like they're just making a quick pit stop here. They look like they might be here to stay. And of course, True Neutral, South American champions for RLCS Season X, moving to NA for this season, just again adding depth to the North American RLCS talent pool. So for AJG, Raze, Bull and Shad, since we're on their POV for this game, we'll talk mostly about them, and then I'll talk more about Integrity Esports in the next game. But if you've not really followed South American Rocket League ever in the past, or if you only just started watching it recently, it is worth mentioning that these guys are the most successful non-Brazilian South American Rocket League team by a long shot, and they're in the running to be the most successful South American Rocket League team ever, especially when you look at what they've achieved as a team, as a trio. But the fact they've moved to North America is, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that's happened in Rocket League esports history, because we've had things like Turbo Pulsar moving regions, moving from EU to North America, but having an entire team win a season in their region and then think, you know what, we could do that again. We're probably a shoe-in for top 2 and a shoe-in for most of the big events of the year, but that's not the goal. The goal is to be even better than that. That's a great double touch center from AJG, finished off as well by, I believe it was Shad at the center. No, sorry, Raze Bull. I'm too stuck in memory lane here to to notice nameplates. But these guys, you know, they didn't want to just stay in SAM in South America and fight for what they've already achieved. They've already been that #1 team there. Now they want to go be the #1 team in NA as well, or at least give it their best shot. Of course, it's going to be a lot harder because NA is a more established region, has a lot more, been around Rocket League esports for a long time. Longest standing is alongside Europe, and they've got the experience, they've got the talent. But from what we're seeing in the off-season and even in qualifying for this first RLCS regional event of the year, True Neutral are looking pretty good. They look like a really dangerous team, and I think they've got a great chance of making top 8s, maybe even that coveted top 5, because that's what you're aiming for in North America and Europe this season. It's not top 6 for majors, or it's not top 6 for championships, I should say. It's top 5 for majors that you want to be shooting for. So just a more exclusive season all around. Oh my goodness, what a shot that was from Blaze in between two defenders. Tight angle, rebound, and had a ton of power on it as well. But you're going to see plenty of that from these guys, Blaze, Cheese, and No Mansion. I don't know where they've been, because just watching their mechanics, their confidence, and their team play, absolutely stunning. They look like a team who are, just like True Neutral, a real threat to the established teams in North America. And I'm just so excited to see them play this weekend in the top 16 for RLCS. So on that, before we continue watching these games, getting towards the end of this one already, but if you do want to watch RLCS this weekend, one thing to note is that unlike last season, instead of having the entire thing be broadcasted by the casting team on the RLCS channel, it's actually going to operate a bit like the Grid did last season. So you guys who watched the Grid will know what I'm talking about. where, oh wow, placement from No Mansion there. I didn't even think that was in, but squeezes it in for the equalizer. But yeah, you can tune into the Rocket League channel or the org channels themselves. So both these orgs, True Neutral and Integrity Esports, will have their own streams, and you can go watch them there if you want to follow along their journey throughout the entire tournament. My goodness, what a save by AJG. Pre-flip off the post. Remember that this is match point for Integrity Esports at that moment, so that might have just saved their entire series. AJG ceiling raid, but not before No Mansion cuts him off. You can, before I forget to mention, you can follow along the action. All of the playoffs will be broadcast into the Rocket League channel on the Saturday and Sunday, just like last season. So you can follow the action on the Rocket League channel throughout the weekend. I love that they've introduced the org streams on the first day of the competition, just like they did for the grid in RLCS Season X, just like they did for the Spring Split in RLCS Season X. It's really cool to see Psyonix making these adjustments to the broadcast schedule. I think just refining it and making so many steps in the right direction to continue to improve the esport moving forward into this season. So overtime, True Neutral need a win if they are going to keep this alive, and they get it, which I'm sure a lot of you would have guessed. I said we were going to watch 2 games today, and it would have been weird to watch just the 1 game here. But there you go. AJG, Shad, Razebull, really up against it here. Brilliant comeback by Integrity Esports, but they held on, and they were able to finish strong in OT. AJG really playmaker and savior in this game, not just on the scoreboard, but literally huge plays in the midfield, saving his team. But let's get into the last game of this best of 5 and see which one of these 2 teams made it into the event undefeated. So here we are, game number 5. We're going to be looking at it through Cheese POV. This is not to be confused with Top Cheese, a ones player who I've casted quite a few times on my channel before. Different Cheese. All these guys, No Mansion, Blaze and Cheese, they're all 16 years old. So they're quite new to the competitive Rocket League scene, but as you'll see from watching them, they look like they're here to stay. And the title of this video is not clickbait. I really do think for the first time in a long time, I'm very, very impressed with the teams just on that bubble, trying to make it into the top 8. They look like a real threat, because I casted all of last season's RLCS for NA and EU, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, you never really had to, follow closely these teams who are qualifying to their first ever event, because they didn't look like a real threat to the big teams, your NRGs, your Space Station Gamings, Envy, G2. It was Rogue last season, FaZe this season, I'm sure, going to be that team to beat. You didn't really have to worry, because I think maybe 9 times out of 10, 19 times out of 20, the big teams would just completely destroy the teams who are still trying to make a name for themselves. But this season, you've got teams like True Neutral coming up from South America. You've got teams like Integrity Esports who are looking really hot qualifying. Both these teams did qualify for the event, like I mentioned. So whoever loses this does go on to qualify in their very next series. But you've also got teams like XSET who are extremely exciting. They had a bit of a disappointing season in RLCS Season X. They look great. The newly branded Torrent, that's the former Alpine roster. They've stuck with the same org, but the org's rebranded to Torrent. They look fantastic, qualifying through the first qualifier. What we're watching here is actually the second qualifier for the first NA regional. But yeah, across the board, I think North America has confidence in the bubble scene right now. There's a lot of these very mechanical players, and there's a lot of these up-and-comers who look like a real threat. They look like they're not afraid of the big names that are facing up against them, and I think that getting that experience of RLCS Season X has helped out a lot of them to just grow into that role, and I think do what Europe has been doing for a while now, and just have all these crazy mechanical teams with ridiculous confidence coming up through the bubble and beating legends of the game. And I know all of you guys are going to be thinking, Johnny, EU bias, but trust me, this is not even a biased take to tell. You could ask any of the NA analysts, you could ask any of the NA pros in the Rocket League scene, which region out of Europe or America has a deeper talent pool. They'll all say Europe, and it always has been Europe. And I think part of that is the the way that the bubble teams come in and have absolutely no respect. They're unbelievably confident, whereas in North America, everybody looking up to the big teams kind of, I think, backfires a lot of time when you play against them, as they just end up being a bit scared to make their own plays and just focus on their own game. But as at the top tier, I think NAEU still very close, have been very close. Oh, bit of a miss there. And open, Blaze puts in a second goal. That looked like a misplay from True Neutral, maybe miscommunication on the goal line. Couple of players close to that one. Integrity Esports, the younger team, the less experienced team coming in. Obviously, they don't have a lot of pressure on them. Everything is up from here. But look at the infield pass. Cheese slams it in, 3-0. They easily, for me, in this ace match, the last game of the series, have maintained their level. And, I think massive pressure has to be on True Neutral, it has to be said. But they do go on to make it in to the qualifier, regardless of the outcome of this game. So don't worry. Everybody is excited to see them play in North America. You will get to do that this weekend. Great positioning, great mechanics from Blaze, Cheese, and No Mansion. It's really impressive to see such consistency and such faith in their own plays, the likes of which we've seen from a few rookies in NA in the past. There have been very mechanical players in North America. It's more like players for new teams rather than whole teams coming up. But this might be one of the first straight up teams coming up together and all taking down big teams. It's worth mentioning as well, I don't think I said this before now, but before this match against True Neutral, they took down Rogue, that's Toroko, Gyro, and Turinturo, all top 6 players from last season in NA's RLCS Season X. And then they also took down E United, who are one of those teams who are making top 16s very consistently in RLCS Season X. So the run that Integrity Esports are on, very, very impressive. Can't wait to see if they could do any damage to more established teams this weekend. But they've still got more work to do here. True Neutral firing one back. It was a lovely goal as well. And definitely piling on the pressure. Infield pass blocked by Blaze. Huge interception. It's not just been mechanics from Integrity Esports here. It's also been positioning. It's been team play. It's been consistency. They were the team to go undefeated in this qualifier. It's a Swiss stage qualifier, 16 teams, only 2 can make it in undefeated, and Integrity Esports were one of them. Like I mentioned earlier, True Neutral did win their series after this one, so they made it in with a 3-1 scoreline. But Integrity, actually, I think they just went in undefeated the entire way through. They had to go through the open qualifier just to get into this this close qualifier. True Neutral were invited to what's called an invitational qualifier. They just failed to make it through that, and that's how they got into the close qualifier, where they did make it through. So 2 different journeys here, but both teams making it into that top 16 for NA regardless. And yeah, looking at that list of 16 teams for the main event this weekend. Maybe the editor can pull it up on screen here so you guys can see, but a lot of really impressive teams coming in for pretty much their first event as a roster together. First RLCS event as a roster together. But another that deserves a shout is Team DVS, BU Nitrous Skills. Also completely new team, very small name players for now compared to the established teams on this list. Yeah, they're coming in. Also, I think with a 3-1 score, so they didn't even need to go through. Yeah, they did come through 3-1, losing to True Neutral, beating E United, and beating Accelerate and Pick Up as well on their way in. So congratulations to them. But yeah, NA looking stacked. I think more stacked than ever in RLCS, especially for a top 16. And I feel as a caster and as a fan of Rocket League that I really have to know about these teams, because they look like they could do some damage. They look like they could be a threat to the established teams, the favorites, to go deep in the competition. That being said, I still expect to see your G2s, your Space Stations, Envies, NRG Phase. I still think they're gonna be fine to make it in to top 8. But it's those other teams, Ghost, Torrent, even Shopify, they've been inconsistent sometimes in these kind of events last season. They've got to look out for teams like True Neutral, Xset, Integrity Esports. They're going to be absolutely there with them. And even version 1, Rogue, these are players with experience, having to fight their way in because the bubble and NA, that up and coming player list is just becoming all the more impressive as time goes on. So like I said before, if you want to catch the action, it's this weekend, Friday, for team streams and the grid style streams. Then we've got the Rocket League channel for the Saturday and the Sunday. So definitely hope to catch you guys there. I'm going to be casting some of the games myself on the main stream. So can't wait. It's been a long time, but it's great to have RLCS back, North America this weekend, then Europe next weekend, and as well all of the other regions. There's so much action about to land on us, so you better get educated. You got to start reading through these team lists, get familiar with these players, so that you know who's who when the matches hit the live stream. But anyway, that's all for now, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Sorry for the inactivity over the past weekend on my Twitch, and also for not being able to record yesterday. I was away at an event in England, so I think I caught like a very minor cold or something. I'm not sure when I was there, because yesterday my throat was too sore to record, but feeling good today, so decided to drop this one for you guys. But anyway, thanks for watching and take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.